Good evening and welcome to the webinar organized by Crowd Product on the health and fitness in today's challenging times of social isolation. Before we start, I would like to wish all of us a very happy Ugadi Gudi Padwa. Let us have a safe and healthy year ahead. We have a panelists who are experts in the field of fitness, nutrition, yoga, and entrepreneurs in fitness products and apparel. Uh, Basically, the purpose of the webinar was the trying times, challenging times which we are going through right now. Most of us are, homebound. We are working from home. We are carrying out our regular business activities from home. Plus, we have the added stress of managing the home with limited resources. We are stressed out about
It's gone live now. The session
the
has started.
household chores. We are stressed out about the
Okay,
groceries.
what
So
we
we are
can do
doing a
is, can
balancing act.
Jibin
Some
and
of us
Akshay,
are
can
already
give
used to
me
it
two questions on
because
health
we
and
have been
hygiene?
working from home.
In
But for
case
most
the
of us,
audience
it has
doesn't
been a
ask any
challenging.
question, I can answer these.
It is a challenging phase.
Yeah, two from
So that's
each.
why Crowd Product
You
decided to
can be
put this
creative enough.
webinar
Whatever you
together.
really
Crowd
want to know, you
Product
can ask that. I can have
is
it asked
the
there.
pioneer in the modern age
Okay, done.
marketing space. So
You
they
can
decided
WhatsApp
to
me on
put
that.
this webinar together where we can hear from experts as to what are the crucial tips and what are the crucial pointers which we can use and implement to make our lives better, stress-free and healthy. So I would go on to the panelists. I would first speak to Hari. Hari is a corporate leader in automobile marketing, and he is a yoga enthusiast. He started yoga to address certain issues in his health, and he was very impressed and amazed with the results, and decided to share the knowledge of yoga across. And today he volunteers across the city of Bangalore and teaches yoga on a voluntary basis. So Hari, I would like to address the first question to you.
Yeah.
The times are stressed. We are worried about. We are juggling too many things. Yoga, as I understand and as I've experienced, helps us not only in fitness, in keeping our body physically fit, but so what would you suggest in terms of a novice who is not really a yoga practitioner? Could you suggest a couple of or a few basic exercises or asanas, as how you call it, to help a common man uh, handle the stress levels and be focused on the activities around him or her?
See, you can't suggest asanas for a novice. You'll have to build into it from the basics. But in these times, basically, let's say if you're looking at the COVID-19 thing, which is affecting the your respiratory system, so I would suggest, as of now, people to concentrate on pranayamas, which will, in a way, how do you say, not only calm your mind, but it will also strengthen your respiratory system. What you need to do is there are different asanas in pranayama. If you take, for example, Mastrika pranayama, these are all very simple and easy to practice. It is not difficult. So, and the way it is done is already available on the net, but it keeps varying between different teachers and different, how do you say, schools of thought. But you
Okay.
can practice things like Bastrika Pranayama or Kapalapati Kriya. These are all asanas where, in a way, you're forcing your lungs to exercise. Otherwise, you have no other exercise for your internal organs. Yoga, that way, actually builds up your internal system as well as your external system. It cohesively blends it with your mind and your body, your thought, spirit. It is not a physical exercise. So, using pranayama not only calms your nerves and mind, it also helps in building up your breathing system, which is what is required more.
Okay.
Other than that, for physical, this thing, Surya Namaskar every day will be ideal because it's a composite one of many asanas.
Yes, I have heard a lot about Surya Namaskar and its benefits, and it's sort of it's a comprehensive involves every part of your body.
Yes.
Yes.
These two basically would, in a way, address your requirement as of now, and it's not difficult. Even a novice can get into it. Maybe you cannot start doing it. You may feel tired initially, but going into it every day, and these are not something you just do on a short-term course for 30 days and then you're fit for the rest of your life. This has to continue for the rest of your life.
Very good. Okay. That's
You just spend half an hour, 45 minutes a day. That's enough. In fact, you can do it on alternative days also. That also is fair enough.
Oh, that's very good. So that's all it requires. It requires half an hour to 45 minutes on an alternate day basis to do a couple of asanas.
Yes. On couple, you can do much more.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And Hari, what time do you suggest? Like people today work from home in different time zones. Like some are following the Indian time, some are following time zones across the globe. So how do you suggest the times have to be matched? Do they match it according to their work schedule? Like they start their day with
you should ideally you should start your day with it, but given the work culture and the work timings, it becomes difficult for many people.
Okay.
The most ideal thing would be right early in the morning. You get up 5 o'clock. Certain things you'll have to do: empty your bowls, have a couple of liters of water, not at least a liter of water, because when you go through this process, you'll sweat a lot. You tend to become dehydrated. So better have some water. And you can do it early in the morning, maybe 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock would be ideal. And for people who cannot do it at that time, who have to do it, let's say, a little later on in the day, or maybe you can do it in the evening also, it is better to do it at least 2.5 hours to 3 hours after you've had food. Because you need to give food time to digest before you start. You should not be doing it immediately after food.
Okay. Okay, that's good. So basic exercises could be pranayam, kapalbhati, surya namaskar, and the precautions to be taken is hydrate yourself, and 2 to 3 hours after a meal, and the ideal time would be sunrise. But yes, it can suit according to your work schedule. But these are the basic guidelines.
Yes.
Thank you, Hari. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
And so we will now speak to Soni. Soni Bhamik is a fitness enthusiast. She's a certified fitness trainer and also a food innovator. This food innovator is a term which I came across the first time and I was very intrigued. So when I asked her, she explained that she gets into creative cooking where the nutrition is intact, but it is much more tastier and much more interesting, especially for special audiences like children, elderly people, or people who are recovering from illnesses. The way the food is cooked makes a lot of difference. Bhamik, would you like to add anything more to what is creative cooking and food?
Sure, it plays an important role. Like every day, if you say you're eating dal chawal, it becomes very boring.
Yes.
So, and that's the reason why many people switch to go outside and have food to get out of the mundane routine. Okay. So here, what we do is, we play with the same ingredients but come up with innovative things like, for example, stir fries with very less oil,
okay,
which is quite healthy as well as cooked properly. So and even the kids love it. And then we have some golgappa variants of that. So a golgappa with some stuffing of veggies, and then in addition to that, you have some lime juice water. So those variants. So we come up with all these ideas as how to make food interesting. And apart from that, salads also, rather than using just cutting in the usual greens, we add to it some flavors also. Like we add some with vitamin C rich fruits, which give that citrus effect. So that the saltiness or the tanginess for the salad comes from that juice, and it's a good mix. Then the use of quinoa. in our daily lives we have we have upma, we have fried rice and all that. So instead of that, rice we substituted with quinoa, and upma, the semolina is substituted with quinoa as well. So you come up with all these different items. So Chinese also, like you add bell peppers, capsicum, onions, and then do a stir fry. It's a quick meal also. It's really fast to have, less oil, and you can also do the baking option also. You can make chicken casseroles. You can have veg casseroles also. And to add to it, you can add some cheese to make it more tasty. And yes, I have a 6-year-old who actually loves that. So she's my guinea pig. So
Very good.
yeah,
So,
so that's how.
if I have to ask you, like during these times when I'm sure it is challenging in terms of getting the right ingredients and to keep it interesting because it can be boring if you're cooking the same thing. So,
Yes.
if I have to ask you three key ingredients which all of us should necessarily include during these say to next 21 days to keep
Mhm.
us fit as well as to keep us as energetic and keep us as positive. What would those three key ingredients be?
See, being an Indian and with the Indian genes, you really need to have carbs in the form of rice or atta. Rice,
Yes.
it is said that for diabetics, it is not very recommended, but our genes, they allow us to digest that properly. So either you can have that atta or rice. So carbs in the form of that, protein in the form of soya, paneer, or chicken. I would not recommend much, much unless it is cooked properly.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you cook it well, then there's no issue. But I would not recommend medium cooked any non-veg items. So
Okay.
better to switch to veg options like soya, paneer, quinoa. Then you
Okay.
have ragi, millets. All these are good substitutes. And
Okay.
apart from that, this COVID virus, I would specially recommend vitamin C rich food, like especially citrus fruits. One fruit a day is highly recommended, but I understand it's not possible to stock it up. So buy it as and when it is available.
Okay.
So that helps a lot. And to keep yourself hydrated also. So drinking water also, if you find it mundane, you can add some cucumber to it. Make cucumber mint water and keep it ready. You can add jeera water also. So you can have all these variants also to make your hydration more interesting.
Okay, that's interesting. So, what I understand is when we go out to the market to buy our groceries during this time, we look out for uh, greens like we look out for vegetables, fruits like oranges, citruses, and we look out for guava. We look out
Yes.
for cucumbers. Instead of being lost, we can focus on these things and include them in our
Exactly, and they'll be more long lasting also,
yes.
and easy to digest also in the scenario where you're at home and your activity is reduced to it's kind of reduced. So
Okay.
all these things will be good, and you have to maintain a good balance between your carbs and proteins also.
Okay.
So that is also required. You don't just neglect all the carbs unless you are used to it, because the body will then not get the energy that it requires. So
Okay.
maintain the carbs and eat at moderate intervals. Don't binge eat in one go. Rather
Okay.
have uh, short meals at every 2 hours. Rather have one big meal when you're not very active.
Okay. So to quickly summarize, I would, as I understand, have a balance of carbs, proteins, and veggies. In veggies, veggies and fruits, try to include cucumber, try to include the greens, try to include the citrus fruits like oranges or guavas, and you can look at alternates like quinoa or ragi or millet.
Yeah.
Maintain a pattern for eating, space out your meals, and and use less of oil. So this is what we would
Yes.
recommend for this 21-day period.
Definitely, and go for a lot of baking. You can do a lot of baking. You can have, especially if you want to have some snacks and all, you can have baked mug cakes, which are like 1 minute, 2 minutes preparation time if you
Okay.
have a microwave. And also, I would like to recommend to make fresh meals which I think will be difficult. But if possible, every meal, if we can prepare fresh, that will be nice because then it will be served hot. Reduce the use of microwave. I mean, these are the basic things. I mean, going ahead also for a healthy lifestyle, if you reduce the use of microwave, it is highly recommended.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Thanks, Sony. Now we'll come to Jai Singh. Jai Singh is a IIT Gold Medalist, a PHU, and during his student days, when he was studying for his engineering, he picked up fitness. He picked up good health practices, eating good, and that's when he decided to take it up as a profession. Today, he is a certified fitness trainer, and his certifications are global certifications. He runs a online channel, provides fitness assistance to a lot of people across the country and across the globe. He has his own YouTube channel, which has around more than 250 videos, which provide inputs on fitness, not only to the general population, but also to the special population like women post pregnancy, women recovering from illness, surgeries, and senior citizens. So, Jaising, what I would like to ask you is most of us are doing some kind of physical activity to take care of our health, either in form of attending a gym or going out for walks or doing some activity like cycling, walking, or swimming. Now that we all are, have been homebound, lockdown, all the facilities outside our house are out of our reach. How do we keep ourselves fit? How do we keep ourselves agile in these situations? Like, do you recommend some home exercises, some body weight exercises, which can help us?
Hello, sir. Happy evening to all of you. First thing I understand your question that first thing I like to look forward to is that in this terrifying situation due to coronavirus, are you able to listen me?
Yes, yes.
The first thing which I like to put forward.
To the mic, your voice is feeble.
Okay, just give me a second.
Yes.
Now, are you able to hear me?
Yes. Others are all.
Yes. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Now, the things which I like to put forward, firstly. Hello.
Yes, you're audible, Jason.
Okay. So the first thing which I like to put forward in this terrifying situation of due to coronavirus is the word awareness. We have to be very focused on this word awareness. We have to be aware about everything which is going around you. Okay. So you have to get the right information from the right sources and use it accordingly. When it comes to the word health, we take it as a very small word, like just like that doing some running, pumping up your bicep, eating broccoli, or just doing breathing exercises. So it is not that a small word. Health is, we have to be very clear about the word health firstly. Health is like a complete state of physical, mental, and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease. So we have to be very clear about that. We have to perform all the three aspects to make our body a healthy. Okay. So, in first example, if you get panic by the situation like lockdown, for giving an example, yesterday I had seen that there is a lockdown situation. People get inside the road and there's a 1 kilometer line at the stores. So we get the panic. This shows that we are not a mentally strengthened people. So if you don't have any illness, you don't have the mental strength or physical, so you can't say that you are healthy. So we have to be firstly understand the meaning of health. That if we become fit physically, mentally, and socially, then we consider ourselves as a healthy person. Secondly, secondly, I'm coming to the question that you have said that what things we have to take in this scenario. So I suggest you to people that devote at least 1 hour of your day for your health. Means there's a 60 minutes you have. You have to devote 60 minutes at least. And I divide this health in this 60 minutes into 20-minute segments. 3 segments of 20 minutes. Okay?
Okay.
So first 20 minutes you have to devote it for this physical health. you know that there's a number of exercises you can do in your home workout. Just at a fingertip, you can find it out, search it out. Okay. For example, you can just look around yourself inside your house. You can find number of equipments like fitness equipment. For example, if I just turn it around, there's a book. I can lift it or use it as a dumbbell. So it is a very best exercise to do it. There's a staircase. We can use it for our lower body workout. So there's a number of fitness equipments which is already available inside our home. We have to just be very aware about the things which are we already have. Okay. Then the second 20 minutes comes for your mental health. The mental health is as the we provide food and exercise to make our body fit physically. We have to be very conscious about the mental health. Mental health is like thinking great process, good thought process, what the positive things you are allowed to enter inside your mind because we think near about 66,000 of thoughts per day. So the all thoughts should be positive encouraging so that we can uplift your life and live it a very enthusiastic way. Okay. So we have to at least give 20 minutes to our mental health. And mental health, we can just read a good self-motivating book, like self-help book, inspiring book. There's a tons of options are available. Then the next 20 minutes, you have to devote to the social health. Firstly, I'm putting the forward like you don't have to meet people's life. You have to maintain a social distancing, as our PM Modi has said. So social health, I want to say that just call to the people who cares about you, who uplift your spirit, your enthusiasm, and talk at least for 20 minutes. You have to list it down for a number 21 days. There is a lockout. List out 21 people, okay, and call them for a 20 minutes and share your thoughts, share your conversation, share and what your positive things you are doing, what are things you are facing, and how you're taking challenge for these things. So by doing these three things, 20, 20, 20, there are three segments. You have combined these three segments, you got the 60 minutes, okay? So at the end of the day, you can proudly say to yourself that I have done something for my health. Thank you.
That is very interesting. In fact, this 20 minutes social health is a very new concept and it's very interesting and which we have been doing, but not in a structured manner as you're suggesting. So, you to quickly summarize what you have said, uh, there are a few activities which we can do at home. Look around our homes, look at objects which can be used as alternates for physical exercise. Maybe books and bags can be used as dumbbells and weights. Maybe chairs can be used for push ups, and the stairs can be used for climbing, for leg exercises. That's good. And mental health, yes. I have a question here. Would listening to soothing music also be part of this 20-minute exercise?
Firstly, I'm not a fan of listening music because I don't used to listen to music or watch movies. I thought because the feeling you generate after that listening the song or watching the movie, that's important. For example, if I read that self-help book, which help in my devoting my services towards my clients membership or uplifting my business, generating some valuable things for the society.
Okay.
That should be complete as a mental health.
Okay.
It's like entertainment if you shift to that music. If the music is motivating, it is good.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Thanks, Jesse. Yeah. So let's speak to Rochelle now. Rochelle is on the panel of nutrition and she's a health expert and the panel of Swiggy. And Rochelle, welcome to the webinar. I would like to ask you a few your inputs on how do we handle nutrition? How do we handle the content of our food and what goes into our dishes during these times?
Thank you, Natraj, for introducing me. So it's a very nice question that you asked. Like that's obviously like what kind of nutrition you're going to eat is purely going to be dependent on what kind of ingredients are sitting in your household.
Yes.
When you say lockdown and social distancing and not to get out of houses, a suggestion is when you go to the marketplace, have a list in hand, and that list needs to have some basic essentials present in it. Be mindful that you're not hoarding stuff because there are other people as well living in the vicinity, and groceries are going to be available. That's what at least has been communicated so far. So simple things that need to be as part of one's grocery list is staples, as Sony very rightfully said. Carbs is something which has to be there. So your atta, your rice, sugar, oil, these kind of ingredients at least sitting right there. You can have stuff like oats, which is long lasting, will stay for a long period of time. Also suffices as an alternative to your mundane regular items that you can eat. You can also have your dals, lentils, chana, rajma, all stocked in, because these are alternative sources of proteins that can feature in your meals. Milk is something which should be there. Now, in all likelihood, if there is no fresh milk that's available at your grocery store, please stock up on something which is called as your milk powders, which you can reconstitute with water and get it as a source of maybe protein and calcium. Other sources would be like, if you're into gymming, you're very quite aware of whey protein as a supplement. But in extreme cases where you're not going to be getting milk available, then yes, please go on and stock some whey protein kind of supplements or some kind of other supplements. The essentiality of supplements is it gives you the protein, it also gives you the XYZ vitamins, minerals. Coming to the point of how to make things more nutritious, sorry, one thing I forgot is to your basket list, if you can also add nuts, dried fruits, seeds. Now, these ingredients are quintessentially power sources of nutrients, and they are long lasting foods. So basically, it's not going to get spoiled over a period of time. You can stock this on in your kitchens. They act as dual purposes. They can act as very good snacking items in between your meals, especially if you're working from home. Like I'm working from home, and we're constantly on calls throughout the day, and you don't have time to get up and go to the kitchen and do something. Especially if you don't have help sitting at home. So you can just sit with like a bowl of handful of nuts, which has a mix of say almonds or dried fruits like figs. There's dates, which can be part of it. So something like just to keep you going through the day. And in the end, when you sit, cook your food, right? So try and optimize things. For example, khichdi, if you can make it like nothing like it, it's like a combination of cereal and pulse, right? It gives an excellent combination of your carbs and proteins. If you have the liberty of adding vegetables, please go ahead. Add the vegetables that are sitting right in your fridge. Make the best out of it. If you want to amp the protein and you have eggs, whip an egg also and add it to it. It's like a one meal bowl that you can make. The other items would be if you stock on oats, and oats basically one connotation is you can only have oats porridge, but you can also use oats to make things like uttapam or like a chila, which is called normally. An add-on variant to your dosa, and you can add some onions or tomatoes on top of it, or even if you have these sunflower seeds or any other seeds sitting in the house, add on to it. So these will basically top up on the nutrition benefit. So what I'm basically cornering on is something called as having your foods made more nutrient dense, rather than scarcely having just something which is like a carb heavy thing.
Okay. Okay. So it is nutrition dense and not just a filling stomach.
Yes.
Okay. So what I understand is when I go out to the market, I need to look at alternates like rajma or the pulses which I use for sprouts or maybe snacks like dried fruits. I replace snacks like chivda and kurkure with snacks like nuts and dried fruits, right?
Yes, you can add makhana to the list as well.
Okay.
And even your puffed rice can be an excellent source of a snack. Like you just have to add a little bit of your chopped tomatoes, onions, and lime, and maybe if you have some kind of date chutney which you can make at home and add on to it, like a perfect chaat option for you, right? Your actually your rajma and chana, if you boil and keep it, you can basically convert those into chaat options too.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Thanks, Rochelle. Let's to Nitin now, and Nitin is a entrepreneur in health space, basically working with many orthopedicians and physiotherapists across the country and the globe to help address issues relating to ailments, foot-related ailments mainly, and any other orthopedic issues. So Nitin here is Nitin. I would address a specific question to you.
Yeah.
Is during these times when most of us are working from home and with limited movement, like we don't, like, at least if you're attending work outside home, we walk to the bus stop or we take the train or we drive down, we climb up the stairs and we do some kind of a physical activity when we step out for our work. But when you're working from home, at the most we are moving from the work desk to the kitchen or maybe to the washroom, right?
Right.
So what kind of precautions we need to take to keep ourselves fit, to keep ourselves alert, and to keep ourselves healthy?
Sure. So just to mainly differentiate when we are walking outside and when we are walking inside, or just sitting inside. So when the biggest difference which actually will happen to your body after this whole lockdown will be in your lower extremity. So what's going to happen? That is your foot and legs and besides everything below the knee. So what usually happens when you're walking or when you're running? You're basically going upstairs. You are actually walking on the road, which is a very hard surface. You are walking in the office on the floor mat everywhere, which leads to your foot basically goes through different expansion and contraction activities. And besides this, your lower extremity, that is your knees and all, they are also very busy. So in a sense, you can say that you are actually encountering variety of surfaces when you are walking around.
Yes.
But interestingly, when you're at home, you are actually standing on a marble surface.
Correct.
So if you actually check,
Hello. I think Nitin has gone offline. Sai, could you please confirm?
Yes, I'll just do that in a bit.
Okay. In the meanwhile,
Yeah.
when Nitin comes back, we will. I'll take a second round of. See, I have a specific query here.
Sorry to
Uh,
interrupt,
yeah,
Natarajan sir. Nitin sir is online.
Pardon, Nitin is back online.
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Nitin, you got disconnected. Sorry.
Correct. So where I was disconnected, if you can tell me.
Yeah, you disconnected saying that at home we are working, we are walking on marble surface and not
Yeah.
padded or carpeted or hard surface.
So yeah, so as I mentioned that at home you're at hard surface, you're basically walking on the hard surface, which
Yes.
poses a problem in your foot. So if anyone has the issues of flat foot or appendicitis, it is going to cause problems in your knees. Then it's going to go posture problems, and then your gait, which is how you walk, it can be permanently altered. So
Okay.
yeah, so the first thing that you need to do, as people, if you are actually see what I realize is that right now in this scenario there are three kind of people. One, who are actually trying to exercise at home, who are running upstairs, running downstairs. They are doing all variety of exercises. So for these people, I would suggest that it's great whatever you are doing, and I would say that wear good quality footwear when you are actually running and walking. And then again, if you are at home, avoid flip flops because all the time when you're there and you're on on just a hard and plain surface, yeah, you will see that if your biomechanics are not stable, your flip flop would actually wear out from one side, which can cause multiple problems. And
Okay.
if you're just a second type of person is the one who is just walking. In this case, people who are just walking, well, you can have a combination where you wear, if you want, you can wear a flip flop, and then when you're walking, like after food, if you're doing like a 1 kilometer or 2 kilometer walk inside the house, that is just going to and fro, then I would say that wear shoes and then walk. It would be a much better scenario because proper grip would be provided. And the third are the ones who are very less active as of now. There is no walking. There is no, there is no exercising. And I would respect that. That's also fine because right now people are in actually in a mental state where they don't want to do all the activities.
Okay.
In this case, I would say that the thing that you can do is that do stretching exercises, which is very important of the feet, so that your feet is actually it doesn't actually completely flatten out, and also it doesn't affect a lot your knees when you actually go out in the scenario. And stretching exercises actually doesn't require a lot of sweat. You can say that it can be done very very easily, and it's very you can just Google it out. You will find multiple stretching exercises which you can do. Another exercise that you can do is very simple exercise that if you have a ball or any kind of art, even just I would avoid that. But still, if you can't find anything, even that Indian basin as well, if you can just run it below your feet, or anything which is even the form which is a rolling form, which is if you can run it below your feet continuously, it can be a very good exercise and even a massage as well. This is
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Nitin. So basically, what you're suggesting is ensure we wear proper footwear when we are doing physical activities,
yeah.
whatever limited physical activities which are suggested by Jay or Hari. And then within at home when we are working at our desk or moving around inside the house, the limited movement which we have, we don't use flip flops, but we either a proper footwear or we go barefoot so that we avoid injuries and stress on our feet.
Yeah.
And stretching exercises also. Thanks,
Yeah.
thanks, Nitin. So now we come to the second phase of our webinar where we have a couple of very specific questions. One is Habib, which I am very eager to ask is, all of us would have perhaps special groups in our homes, like we might have children, we might have elderly. Uh, so I would like to ask each one of you as to what kind of activities or what kind of food, depending on the panelist, let's say Hari, what kind of exercises or what kind of asanas, not really asanas, whatever practices which you are suggesting, what would you recommend for say children in the house or say elderly people in the house to keep them also positively charged because we are going to be occupied at work, they have their own challenges, right? So how do you think yoga can help them and what would you recommend?
Children, it's better if they are above 8 or 10 years old before they start practicing yoga. Once younger than that, it's better to have them play around to build their own this thing. You need not go into yoga. For the elders, see, the same asanas can be done. You can water it down to minimize the movement depending on, how do you say, their difficulty. If somebody has difficulty in their legs or hands or whatever, based on that, you can water down the movement and do the same exercises. You don't have any separate ones for elderly people and younger people and things like that.
Okay, okay. So basically, it's the same. You just reduce the intensity according to the comfort level.
The only thing is, see, doing yoga, it is not just you end up doing some sort of a physical exercises and get it over with. You get involved in it. You're building up energy.
Correct.
So you have to put your body, your mind, your soul in one direction. It has to cohesively run through. Otherwise, there's no point in doing it. You'll just end up doing your physical exercises and that's it. You need to feel fresh. You will feel fresh and rejuvenated throughout the day if you do it proper in the morning. You need not do for hours together. Just half an hour, 45 minutes is fair enough. And you do to the extent you can. You do not unnecessarily push yourself and put your muscles and your body into problems. You walk into yoga, you start slowly, you do little, whatever you can, keep improving on it every day and continue with it. You will end up doing that is what I have done and I've seen wonders in my everyday life. That's something
I have seen and I have heard you talk about it a lot of pride and happiness. That's good. So, Hari, do you suggest that as a family we do it together?
You can. See, if there is a family and do it together, there will be a little more fun in doing it. And it's actually much better than doing it alone. Okay. If you're doing it alone at home and you go to a class and do it, you end up doing more in the class because there is some sort of energy flowing in from the others.
Yes, correct.
And there is more fun in doing it together with the others. So you'll end up actually doing more of it than if you do it alone.
That's good. That's very good. So it's possible that the children who are curious may watch the elders do it and may
They
participate.
can join in. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Now coming to Sony, what kind of dishes would you recommend for children to make it interesting? Because you said something about golgappa, which has got vegetables in it. I think something I'm curious about.
Okay, so I don't know whether in this scenario Golgappas can be bought or not, but yes, to make things interesting, the snacks, as Rochelle had mentioned, so I've made a dabba of dry fruits which has almonds, cashew, kishmish, all those things. So as and when the kids are around, they can have that. Then bread, pizza, like I've stocked some cheese. So we are making bread pizza for snacks or roti pizza to make it interesting. Simple roti and layering it with veggies and topping it with some cheese and giving it a name as pizza. So it's just renaming the whole thing and deconstructing the roti sabzi thing.
Okay.
So that ways we are working. And yes, as I mentioned, regular snacks, one fruit a day. So mid morning snacks and one fruit. So every day, some different fruit is being given to her. And I have my father-in-law also who is diabetic. So for him also, it's like moderate quantities at regular intervals. And for us, regular food. But we all are following the same principle: moderate eating at regular intervals, keeping ourselves hydrated. In terms of physical activity, we are doing freehand exercises, calisthenics, which do not require any equipment, simple free squats for the legs, and always walking, like after 1 hour, taking a break, getting up. And for the fun part, we are doing some Zumba with some music. So all of us join in that and have fun.
That's
So
good.
that's how we are keeping our spirits up.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good. That's nice. So, Rochelle, what would you like to add for children and elderly?
I think Sony has by and far covered what both the age groups need. I think, but it's actually a very excellent time if you have elderly sitting at home. They're
Yes.
basically a knowledge trove, right?
Yes.
In the Indian cooking setting, at least, there are certain dishes that we make, and
Yes.
inherently they do have certain goodnesses. The
Yes.
simple as a idli and a dosa, like that itself has a goodness of both carbs, protein sitting with it. And when
Yes.
you top it with say a chutney and a sambar, that covers for your vegetable quota, which gets you the fiber and the other vitamins, minerals coming through with it as well. So if you can tap into this goodness at this point in time, like nothing like it, because you're going to enrich your experience going forward.
Yes.
Simple suggestion on vitamin C and staying hydrated for the elderly. Like Sony had given some examples of vitamin C. One excellent source which you can stock up and keep for sure is amla, the Indian gooseberry. That's an excellent source of vitamin C, and it's very stable. So even if you cut amla and keep, it's not going to deteriorate in vitamin C content. This is specifically for the elderly. Whereas for the kids, them being very hyperactive and wanting to play around, if you can keep things a bit playful, like how Sony suggested, the bread eats are kind of way, like wherein you top up with some vegetables and present it to them in fashions which they have not even envisaged it to be in. So why not? If there is dudi which is sitting at home, which is basically lauki, you can just maybe put your lauki in a paratha format and also give it to them. So the kid will not even know, like I'm eating lauki, but it has the goodness of both vegetables and protein over them.
So parents have to really dig into their creative boxes and come up with something.
Yes, and to for helping out, I think there's a lot of it available to help you guys online. If you just YouTube things, there's actually a plethora of things that you can do with your day-to-day life.
Power of today of the information age.
Yes.
Very good. Jessing, you are a certified trainer for people with special needs. So when it comes to children and elderly and also perhaps people who are recovering from some surgeries or illness, what would you suggest for this 21-day lockdown period?
Firstly, we have to separate the people who are having some special issues, like you had said, surgery. Separate them. They have a different set of exercises. I'm talking about the person who has general health, like you and me. Okay, so we have to make our like a full body routine only, and where we have to cover all the muscle group, mainly the large muscle group like legs, chest, back. So these are the large muscle group. So we have to perform the basic exercise, basic body weight exercises, where you can utilize your body weight to perform the exercise. I'm just going to give you few names which is very familiar to everybody. Okay. Just for example, push-ups. Okay, when you do push-ups, push-ups is known to even a child of a 5 years old.
Yes.
So if you do push-ups, you're working out your chest, shoulder, and triceps.
Okay.
And second thing, it comes pull-ups or chin-ups. So whenever you do pull-ups or chin-ups hanging on a bar, it's like that you're working out your back, entire back muscle and bicep muscle.
Okay.
Third thing you can do is like a dips. We call it the pella bar dips, but we can do inside our home like using our bed and the table. You have to just place your leg on the table and the hand on the bed, and you just go down and come up. It's a very simple exercise which cover your shoulders and triceps. And the third things you can do is like that squat. The squat is like just going down and coming up with you using your leg muscle. And the last thing which is left for our core, where you can do plank and side plank. Plank is a very popular exercise for core, developing the strength of your core. Core means abdominal muscle. Okay. So if you do these 5 exercises, you can cover your entire body.
Okay.
And the second part is,
for elderly people, they may not be able to do something like a push-up or a chin-up.
I'm just coming to the point. The second thing, the people who come just out of the surgery or having some issues like Nitin sir has said that there's a orthopedics, arthritis things are there. Yeah. So here they have to use like thera bands. It's like a rubber bands.
Okay.
That people usually have, or if they not have, they have to do isometric holds. Isometric means if you're holding something, for example, if I'm doing this state, I'm just holding my hand like that. So this is an isometric exercise. Okay? Whenever you're some holding things, holding your body part or holding some weight. For example, if I put my phone and hold this slide, okay? So it's a complete rehabilitation program for your shoulders. For example, if you want to cure your knee, so you just sit down on chairs and raise your leg, okay? So you have to make your leg parallel to the floor and hold for a 30 seconds, 1 minute. You will develop the strength on this quadricep muscles. Okay. So this is the way to cure these people who have the special population category, who have some diseases, illness, or just came out after the surgeries.
Okay. So you recommend that they follow the regimen which has been suggested by their physicians or their doctors.
Yes.
And as alternates the basic exercises which you have suggested. Okay. Yes. Okay, thank you. So Nitin, any inputs for special needs like children and elderly people?
Yeah. So I believe here the situation that we are right now in. According to me, first thing is that if I divide between elderly and children, so it's affecting a lot to the children mentally because they're not able to go out, they're not able to play with their friends, and it's very different from summer vacation where they could go to the summer camps and all. While for elderly, they have seen a lot in terms of going on in the world, and they are pretty relaxed. In fact, so in terms of especially for children, I would say that let them do the fun activities. Even I have a 12-year-old niece, and right now she actually wants to go out and play with the friends, and even wants to go to the library and all that. So the first would be let them do the exercises which they enjoy. It is very important. And for example, like she loves to do the skipping rope. So I just tell her that yeah, fine, do that. Whatever minimal exercise that you want to do, which you like, do that. Because right now the best thing you can do is keep the body moving. And there is, I would say that I personally believe that giving any kind of regime, a tough regime would be hard on them. And for elderly, I would say that right now there are a lot of physiotherapists who are doing online consultation. And if anyone wants to know, they can reach out to me, especially for the elderly. I would say that stick to the whatever the physiotherapist, if they have special needs or if they have, already going through some therapy, just stick to that. I would avoid doing any kind of exercises which is not recommended by the physio or anything, which actually can do more harm than actually good. So I would say stick to that.
actually, we would be sharing the contact details of all the panelists at the end of this webinar so that the audiences can reach out if they have any specific questions and any specific needs. So our audiences would be reaching out to all of you with their questions. And I would really request you to take some time and help the audience in and guide them in their queries. So Sai, would you like to come up with some questions which are coming from the audiences?
Yes. So one of the question asked was, in a metro-like city called Bangalore or Mumbai, it's very common to dine out. What
Right
practices?
now.
Yeah. So what
Okay.
practices can be followed to ensure healthier lifestyle?
Okay. But where are they going to dine out? Everything is shut down.
Agreed. We can take a dine out or delivery. So
So this after the lockdown or
after the
okay,
lockdown, yes,
delivery happens. Yeah, okay,
yes,
fine.
yes.
Delivery happens during this time also. Okay. So who would like to address this, Sony or Rochelle?
I can address it to a certain extent.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're really wanting to go out and eat, right? At least if you go onto Swiggy's app before the COVID-19 situation, I'm assuming right now also it is there. We do have something called as a healthy curation of restaurants over there. So if you go into that widget, you will see a list of restaurants which are curated who stand for health. The likes of you have GrowFit, you have Flax, you have some of the XYZ restaurants listed over there, wherein you can go and make an informed choice. Key things to remember when you're looking at food is, especially when you're ordering out, is what is it offering to you? Like, what is it made up? So, if there's a description given, please go read the description. This will help you understand and make the choice. So, pick up stuff which have grilled, baked, stated in it. Especially if you're very mindful of taking the healthy route. Please look at descriptors for these particular products. Look at if there is calorific value or protein content given. See that it's not overshooting like more than 1,000 calories or 900 calories. Like that's absurd amount of calories that you're going to be taking in. If you're going to be buying beverages from the list, be mindful that they sometimes come with hidden sugar content sitting in it. So please feel free to ask or maybe put in an added requisition of add less sugar or see the sugar content. These are the kind of tips that you can go about looking for food at least onto the app right now.
Okay. Considering that there is a lockdown, it's only the delivery options available.
Yeah, as of
And
now, and yeah, it will be limited to basically the kind of restaurants who are actually also willing to do the business right now. It's not that
yeah,
all restaurants are working, so it will be good to go and pick up stuff like uh, tandoor stuff or grill stuff or like have a whole wheat option if there is something. If there's something in brown rice, please go for it. It's a bit more nutritious than your regular rice variants.
unfortunately, today we have curated lists which give us these kind of inputs.
Yes, so if you just want to go in and have a look at what is healthy, please go on to this particular healthy collection which is sitting right on the app. Go into it, look, make an informed decision, make an informed choice. If you're not able to understand a particular ingredient, please use Google because that be the best kind of thing to tell you what that particular ingredient means and for you to make a helpful choice then.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Rochelle. Sai, any more questions?
Yeah, I have three more questions. So the second question would be, how do you increase a metabolism?
How to increase the metabolism?
Yes.
Okay. When you're working from home.
Yeah, it can be working from home or in a gym. Basically, I guess he's trying to ask us, uh, being healthy, and he keeps on eating, I guess, and that's why the metabolism for him it is slow, and that's why he's asking how to increase the metabolism and go ahead with it.
Okay. I would like to sort of couch this question in the context of today's times, like how do we increase metabolism? Because metabolism is a very big topic by itself and needs to be addressed as a combination of your food habits and your activities. But let us limit the context to today's scenario where we have a shutdown and we are
Sure,
working from home or operating from home.
sure.
So, Jay, would you like to address this, or is it very specific and needs a specific input?
Yes, I can address that. There's
Yeah.
whenever comes, there's a metabolism. There's a very vast topic of it. There's a number of ways to increase the metabolism. Okay. So first thing, I'm going for exercise. Okay. So whenever you perform any physical activities, any means any, even just a walking or running or just paddling or going up for staircases, whenever you do any physical activity, if there is a breakdown of your muscle fiber, then there's a recovery work is going on. Body tries to recover that breakdown. And during that recovery process of our body, our metabolism increases because there's a basal metabolic rate which increases. As the basal metabolic rate increases, means is the calorie we burn at the rest. So when the calories we burn at the rest got increases, our metabolism get eventually increases. So this is the exercise point of view. If it comes to the nutrition, number of foods that come, you have to when you put inside your body, your metabolism will kicks in. So okay. So for example, if you separate your food habits with 3 hours of interval, for example, you eat 5 meals a day. Okay, whatever the meals are there. If you separate that meals for 3 hours in interval, okay. If you are taken breakfast at 8, then the second will be at 11, then 2, then 5, then 8. So it is the specific intervals. When you separate these meal timing with the interval, your metabolism kicks in. Third thing is like you have to put proper macro and micronutrients. Macro means protein, carbs, fat, and this micro means minerals, vitamin. Okay, so there's a balanced nutrition you have to place. Whenever your body is getting balanced nutrition, everything will be on this track. Okay, so metabolism kicks in. I'm going to give a very little advice so that anybody, even a person is known, educated or not, can utilize this tip. For example, I said that micronutrient, people need a balance of mineral, vitamin, and trace element, electrolyte. Okay, so just go to the market, look for the colors. For example, you have gone to a vegetable shop. Okay, if you have gone to the vegetable shop, look the different colors. You have to pick 4 colors, 4 different colors of vegetables. If you pick 4 different colors of vegetable, you can combine that all the minerals and vitamin in your diet. For example, colors like, for example, orange or red carrot. Okay, you can pick from this red color, my red color bucket. You can choose that orange or fruit item. You can also pick like orange. You can cook the salad vegetables like carrot. Then the next second category, you can have the light green. Light green means you can cook cucumber. There's a palak. Okay. The third category is very dark red. So you can dark red. You can go for a beetroot. You can go for this anar, pomegranate. Okay. So these are the things you have to make arrangements. You have to pick down the 4 colors. Okay. So when you choose like a color combination, anybody, even a 5-year-old child can pick the healthiest food for him. Same thing.
It can make shopping vegetables can be made fun for children. So even though children, I wouldn't recommend them to be going shopping now, considering the restrictions. But yes, it's a very good input. Very good input. Thank you.
Same thing can be done with this macronutrients, protein, carbohydrate, fat. Go with the market. There's a grains. For example, red kidney beans are red colors. Okay. Then there's the different lentils. Moong dal is of a green color. Okay. Paneer is of a white color. So we can make it our grocery like that, a colorful. When you pick different color option, you can enrich your body with every type of macro and micronutrients. So even a person who is not known to the nutrition, even he don't know a single word of nutrition, he can figure out it as the simplest way.
Basically, make your plate colorful.
Yes, sir. And make sure to make it 4 colors. If you pick out the 4 colors, you can put every macro and micronutrients in this.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. Sai, do we have time for one more?
Yes, let's pick one. Let's pick one question. This is coming from a kitchen called Farm to Folk.
Yes.
So he wants to understand. The question is, what are important steps for a kitchen or a restaurant to maintain hygiene, and what to instruct the delivery boys on maintaining the hygiene, because they get food on their bike and
hear you clearly. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll just repeat
Can
the
you
question.
repeat the question?
Yeah, I'll repeat the question. What are important steps for a kitchen or restaurant to maintain hygiene, and what to instruct delivery boys on maintaining the same? Because they get food on their bike and we don't know how hygienic it is. How can we solve this?
Okay. part of this question, I think I will try to address. See, basic hygiene is hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. Basic hygiene for restaurants and for delivery boys is already available uh, in the Food Safety Act because it's a very comprehensive act which is available on the net, which lists down what are the precautions, what are the care, what are the steps which should be taken by people handling food, by equipments which process food. It is a very comprehensive and very detailed. It has been put together by the experts across the country. So it is available on the Food Safety Act website. So that could be a starting point. But coming to some basics, some tips and pointers, I would request Tony if she could give some input because she has had some hands-on experience in the food business. So I would really request her to give some pointers.
See, during operations, basic hygiene, as you mentioned, it is quite listed out in the act. So we have to adhere to that. First is the waste segregation. Then, the basic cleanliness needs to be maintained at every sessions. Like you can divide your daily operation into different intervals after which a cleaning session is happen. And if some cooking is happening, the immediate wet waste should be disposed of. So that waste segregation is very important. And apart from that, the staff involved, their hygiene, like handling of using gloves, caps, hair caps, those things are important. The dress which they are wearing, the aprons, they should be clean. And the equipments which they use, the knives, even the vessels and everything, those should be cleaned properly. And before closing down, we have to make sure that the entire place is clean so that there are no leftovers for the next day. And even before starting, the cleanliness should be maintained. So that is how we used to operate our cloud kitchens. So every day before shutting down, you have to clean and dispose of the waste properly, segregated, and the counters, kitchen counters should be clean. All the utensils, all the equipment should be clean and washed and kept. So these basic things have to be, and water, the usage of water, your drinking water, the water that you use for cooking should be separate, and your washing water can be from the tap water.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. I hope that this is very which farm to fork has raised.
Yes.
In case you would like additional inputs, you could always reach out and offline and get additional input. So I think we can wrap up we're actually exceeding our time. To summarize, I would sort of take the idea from Jay, who said that we should segment our devote segment our activities in three parts. One is the physical, the other is the mental health, and the third is the social health. In physical and mental health, yes, he has recommended, all of you have recommended some uh, home exercises where we can use body weight. Hari has given us valuable inputs on how yoga can help us calm our nerves, keep us balanced, and increase our productivity. Sony and Rochelle have really contributed a lot in being careful about the ingredients, what items are sitting on the fridge, sitting on the table, on the kitchen top to ensure that the food is nutritious, the food is interesting for children and the elderly, and we also don't spend too much time cooking them. And Nitin, thanks a lot for your inputs on what kind of footwear and what kind of precautions we need to take when we are working from home. Thanks a lot to the panel who have contributed immensely in this webinar. Thanks for Crowd Product and the audiences. In case you have any specific questions, you have any specific queries, which you would like to get detailed answers, you can reach out to the panelists at their contact details, which have been provided, which will be at the end of this program. Thank you, everybody. Thanks. Be at home. Stay safe. Stay healthy. And thanks once again to the panelists who have taken their time to share their valuable inputs.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Be safe.
Thanks, Eva.
Bye.
Bye, sir.